Okay, we're going to do an application problem right now with absolute value, and we are going to use the a stock exchange question. So on our stock market, individual stock and bond values fluctuate a great deal, especially when the markets are volatile. A particular stock on the Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSX, opened the month at $13.55 per share, dropped to $12.70, increased to $14.05, and closed the month at $13.85. Determine the total change in the value of this stock for the month. This total shows how active the stock was that month. So the word total suggests that we're going to do some adding. Okay. Alright, so we're going to calculate this change by using the formula absolute value of V subscript I plus 1 minus V subscript I, where I equals 1, 2, and 3. And the reason why we are going to have I values that go as high as 3 is because we're going to take a look at the changes between 1355 and 1270, between 1270 and 1405, and between 1405 and 1385. So that's 3 changes that we'll be looking at for this question. Okay, so we're going to start by representing the stock values. By V1 equals 1355, V2 equals 1270, V3 equals 1405, and V4 is equal to 1385. Okay, and then we're going to calculate each change. In stock value, and find the sum of these changes. Okay, so let's use our formula. We're going to start where I is 1, so absolute value V subscript I plus 1 becomes V subscript 1 plus 1 minus VI, which is V subscript 1, plus, now we're going to plug in I as 2, so we're going to go V subscript 2 plus 1 minus V subscript 2, plus, and then we're going to look at I is 3, so V subscript 3 plus 1 minus V subscript 3. Okay, let's simplify. That gives us V2 minus V1, absolute value, and then absolute value of V3 minus V2, and then the absolute value of V4 minus V3. Okay. Okay, plug your numbers in. V2 is 1270 minus V1, which is 1355, plus absolute value of V3, which is 1405, minus V2, which is 1270, plus absolute value of V4, which is 1385, minus V3, which is 1405. Okay, calculate those changes. We get absolute value of negative 0.85, plus the absolute value of 1.35, plus the absolute value of negative 0.2. Okay, and that gives us 0.85 plus 1.35 plus negative 0.02. Alright, calculate all of that, and we get a total change for the month of $2.40. Okay, so the total change in stock value for this month is $2.40. Okay, so what that number tells you is that the stock changed $2.40 over the whole month. So, you know, we went from $13.55 to $12.70, and then from $12.70 to $14.05, and then from $14.05 to $13.85. So it's calculating the change between all of those numbers. Okay, so if we go to the sidebar, let's compare that to what net change is. to calculate the net change of a stock as the closing value of the stock minus the opening value, okay? All that means is that we want to take the closing value, which is $13.85, and subtract the opening value, which is $13.55. That gives us a change of 30 cents. So what that means is that the value of the stock went up 30 cents that month, okay? So you might want to make a note. This is your closing value. And this is your opening value. Okay, now let's just take a look at this question over here on the right. Does the order in which the values are subtracted matter? Okay, and the answer is no, and I'll show you why. Okay, let's just take a look at V2 minus V1, okay, the absolute value of that. So that is 1270 minus 1355. That gives us the absolute value of negative 0.85, which equals 0.85. Now let's switch the numbers. Let's reverse them. So 1355 minus 1270, that's going to give us 0.85, and so we get an absolute value of 0.85 is 0.85. So you can see it doesn't really matter which order the numbers are in, the change is still going to be the same. Okay? Alright, and that's because the absolute value of a negative number is positive. Okay, that's it.